Hey Flosstube, it's Jo and welcome to my second Flosstube video. Today's the 31st of August and I'm here to do my end of August update and my plans for September. I'd like to say thank you to everybody that took the time to watch my last video, which was my introduction video. And I just want to say it was so nice for the people who took the time to watch it, to comment, to subscribe. I was a little bit overwhelmed by how many people have actually seen it and how many people have subscribed. I wasn't expecting that. I'm, just a normal English girl and just wanted to talk about the things that I love, stitching, and it was really nice. So I just want to say thank you for that. The second thing I'd like to say is I'm really sorry about my first video. I was extremely nervous. I'm still nervous. And I watched it back and I realised how many times I paused and said, I do it when I'm nervous. I do it while I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next. And last time I didn't write any notes. I just thought I'd wing it and see how it went. So this time I've got a couple of notes in front of me. I've just done it then. I'm going to try my best not to do it. I'm sorry. I was actually thinking of turning it into a drinking game, like people do Drink Along with Dallas and other programmes. But I thought that I would probably end up in hospital with alcohol poisoning. So I was going to count how many times I said it. You will probably see me pause when I think I'm going to say it. You'll probably see me smile when I know I've said it. I'm going to try my best not to do it. So with that, I'm going to get into it. If you'd watched my last video, my introduction video, I talked about what I was doing over the next year. So I'm planning on doing 55 new starts. I start every Monday for the next year. So that's 52, one for my birthday, one for Christmas Day and one for New Year's Day. I started it at the beginning of August. So I've done my first month. And then when I've showed you what I've done for my first month, I'm going to show you what I'm planning on stitching next month. So for the beginning of August, I started on Monday the 6th of August, and the first project that I started was a kit. I'm going to rotate each week, so the first week will be a kit, the second week will be a magazine or a booklet pattern, the third week will be a book, and the fourth week will be a internet pattern. So the first week was Monday the 6th of August and I started a kit. It was a Chinese kit that I got off Amazon. I'd had it for over a year, sat in my stash, and the one that I started, and unfortunately this doesn't have a name so I just call it Colourful Tree, was this one. So that's what it's like. Now, it's a Chinese kit, it's on Ada, it comes with all the floss, and it is on it's printed Ada. I've done printed kits before. I like them, they're alright. They're a bit blocky, it's quite big. It might even be 11 count, I'm not 100% sure, I haven't checked. I've only ever done one printed kit before, and it turned out alright, so I'm hoping this one will as well. It is huge. I don't even know how I'm going to show you this, but that's the one that I've got. So I call it Colourful Tree. There is no name. I suppose if you googled it or searched it and you just put printed kit Colourful Tree, it would probably come up on Amazon or Wish. So that's what it was. So I started it on Monday the 6th. There's tons of floss with it. Tons of floss with it. So that's the floss, loads of it. Says it's DMC. I don't know if it is. It knots quite easily, so I just use shorter strands to work with it. I worked on it for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of that week, and I will try and show you. So it's all on one, and I was going to cut it, but I thought if I cut it, I don't know how I'm going to frame it, so, oh my. So there's the first section, the second section, the third section, and the fourth section. I actually started working on the fourth section. So it's going to be hard to see because it's printed, but this tree branch here, I have done everything below that. So I've done everything below that tree branch, and it's okay. I've done these as well. Here, all this here, this here, and I was just working my way up. But yeah, and I actually really enjoyed working on this. The only problem is that I actually had to sit on the floor with it over my knee because it's that big. If I cut them into the individual ones, it'd be a lot easier to work with. But I kind of liked the idea of framing it in one like that instead of individual ones. The thing I'm thinking though is it's been alright to work on the end bit on my knee because I stitch with a hoop, but when I get into the middle section I think I'm going to really struggle getting my arm round, so I might end up cutting it. I haven't decided yet. So that's where I got to in my first week. That was my first start, number 1 of 55. So on the weekends I'm going to work on any of my whips that I've got. I think I've got about 9, I haven't counted them. And once I've completed the 9 whips I've got, then I'm going to start rotating the ones that I've already started, the new starts for the year, into the weekend, so I get to work on them a bit more. So for the first weekend I worked on my dimensions kit that I had. And I have a finish. My first finish. So the kit that I worked on, which was my whip for the weekend, my whip weekend, was the Gold Collection Petites Paris. I call it a postcard, so Paris postcard. Was a kit. I got this off Amazon. It's dimensions. It was the first time that I worked with blending different colour threads. The first dimension kit I've ever used. I don't know how much I liked it. When I started it last year, I said I was never going to do another dimensions kit because I just didn't like blending the threads, using 3 threads on some sections, 1 threads on others. I think it was because it's a kit, I was worried about running out of the colours, and I know you can obviously email them when you do run out and ask for more. So I was very conscious when I was actually stitching it about blending the colours. And I know it says do full crosses first in one colour and then do your blends at the end. But I found that quite difficult to do because I like starting in one section and working my way across instead of doing, you know, cross country and working all the way through. So the thing is, when I picked it up again that weekend to finish it, I actually really enjoyed working on it. And I've seen another dimensions one that I actually want to do, and it's the Indian peacock. So I might have been converted. I think I might have been a bit too harsh to judge blending threads so quickly. I mean, towards the end, knowing that I had enough, I could sit and enjoy it. When I first started it, I was like, I don't think I'm going to have enough of this stuff. But I will show you. It's not an FFO. It's not fully finished. But there it is. And I'm really happy with it. I did cheat a little. French knots. Can't do French knots. I've not mastered French knots yet, so I just put in a couple of little beads that I had. But I am really happy with how it turned out, and I do like the way that the blended threads have really brought out the shading and the detail. So you'll find that I am a little bit obsessed with Paris. My bathroom's full of Paris stuff, so this will be framed in a black frame and it'll be going in my bathroom. So yeah, the back stitching's not great. I'm not great at back stitching. I don't like doing back stitching. I don't find it fun. I find that I rush it because I just want to get it finished and get on to doing something else. But yeah, I'm glad I did that, and I'm glad I finished, so it's a whip off my list. Okay, so the second project of the 55 new starts was the one that I started on the 13th of August, and that was out of Cross Stitcher magazine. It's issue 2014. It's issue 285, November 2014, Cross Stitcher. And the pattern that I picked was the Fawn Day. Now, I really liked this, and it is the colours of my living room. I always stitch things that I'm going to use in my house, and my living room, I don't know if you can tell behind me, is like brown, greys and blues. So I really like this. So what I've done is I've done it, but I've changed the colours around slightly. I've took out the pinks. I'm going to do other colours for that, and I'm doing it on 14 count Ada. And I worked on it the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of that week before the WIP weekend. And that is how much I got done. Now, I would have managed to get a little bit more done, but because I changed the colours, I couldn't find a colour to go in these little circles here. I tried a darker grey and it didn't stand out. It didn't look right. I tried white, it didn't look right. I tried cream, it didn't look right. I've tried brown, it didn't look right. So I need to try and figure out what I'm going to do in this section here. So I've got all this section to fill in, and I've got the same to fill in here, and then I've got all this section here which is white that needs filling, and then this little bit. I might even do it white and I might back stitch it in a blue so it stands out, or might back stitch it in the brown. I'm not 100% sure, but I got quite far on this. I didn't put it down all week, and yeah, it's turning out all right. So that was my second project. At the weekend I pulled out my WIP, which is Magpies, and I showed this book in my first video. I'd done a design out of this, a trellis design. So this is Victoria Needlepoint by Beth Russell, and the one that I worked on was Magpies. So this is it, and I've done a colour conversion, so I've changed it to greens because my kitchen's green. So it's nearly finished, but it's been a nightmare to do because I'm changing it from needlepoint, and the coloured squares in the book aren't completely coloured. Some of them are merged in, there's like half and half of each colour on them. It's not very easy to read. So what's happened is I've miscounted somewhere in the middle. So I've done like 3/4 of it, realised how much I've messed up, then gone down to the bottom and started to work my way up. So now I've just got like a little small section like this in the middle, like to one side, where I'm just slowly kind of trying to bring it together so that I can fudge it a little bit. But this is, and it's on, let me just have a quick look, it is on 18 count Ada, and this is how far I've got. So what I've got here is all that done. I've got to fill in the white on the birds, but you can see here I've worked up, I've worked down. This is not right. we're out somewhere definitely down here. So I'm just trying to gradually move up and hopefully get to figure out what I've done here. But yeah, it's coming along. I reckon another couple of weekends. It's slow stitching because I'm doing a couple of stitches and then trying to see where I've ended up and where I need to go to try and get it to match up. So yeah, so that's my Magpies. So that'll come out again in September on a weekend, and hoping to get that finished, and then that'll be another one done. So that brings us up to Monday the 20th of August, and it's a book pattern, and I worked on something out of the same book. It's the last pattern that I'm going to do out of this book. So again, Beth Russell's Victorian Needlepoint, and I picked another cushion which will be for my craft room, and there's not a very good picture of this, but I picked this cushion. And I've done a conversion. It's not great. I'm gonna have to rip some of the blues out. I've just started to put in little bits of colour to try and figure out exactly which colours I'm going to use. But I worked on it the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of that week. And this is how far I got. So I've put in some light blue, which I quite like. I've done the pinks, so they're the pinks that I'm going to use. I don't like this blue. I'm going to take this blue out, use the light blue, and then try and find something for another shade. Now the thing with this is that in the book it's only half the cross stitch, so you're supposed to use a mirror to see the other half, which isn't the easiest thing to do. But what I figured out is that if you take a picture on a smartphone and you go in edit, and I don't know why I didn't think of this at first, if you go in edit, you can flip it, so you can flip the image over. So instead of using the mirror, you can do it on your phone, and it's a lot easier, I don't know how people did it before smartphones, where you could do that or print it. Just having to keep stopping and putting, you know, a mirror to see it and check that you're in the right place. It's a lot of work. But yeah. So I'm quite pleased with how far I got with that. I love the colours of the greens. I like the pinks. I like the light blue. I don't like the dark blue, so I'll be taking that out. And hopefully I'll be able to sew on that sometime once I get my other whips finished. Then for that weekend, I worked on the first project, or one of the projects that I showed you in my first video, which is the trellis design. If you haven't seen that video, it's out of that book. It was the first conversion that I ever did, the first design that I ever changed. I changed it because I was watching Arlene Colin, ABC Works. Arlene, who's another Flosstuber, and she's lovely, such an inspiration. And she said, you know, like, you do what you want to do, change things, you know, there's no right or wrong. So I really wanted to have a go at changing something, and I really like this design in here, but I didn't like the background, so I decided to change it. So this is the one again for the people that have already seen it, and for the people that haven't, this is the one that I changed. So it's trellis. I changed the background, you'll see in a bit what I've changed it to, and I've changed the colours. I kept the birds pretty much similar, but I've changed the colour of the flowers. And I never got it finished. I thought I'd only have about an hour or two to finish on it, and the problem that I was having was, in my first video I spoke about I couldn't find a green. I used green from stash that I'd got from an auction house that was unnumbered, and I thought I had enough of it, and I didn't, and I couldn't match this green because I didn't know if it was faded. I couldn't find the right DMC. We don't have a craft shop that has a whole line of DMC. I had no way of matching it, and I asked for comments, and a few lovely people left comments. A lovely lady left a comment about a website, so I had to check on that. A few people said, how about blending what I had left with a lighter colour, which is what I did. What I didn't realise was, when I pulled it out, that I hadn't filled in the gaps of the bricks that I've put in. So I spent all weekend, pretty much, which you won't be able to see, filling in white. So that's what I did. And then I managed to start filling in the leaf there, and it's upside down. There we go. So I managed to start filling in the leaf there. So yeah, for my whole weekend, I filled in white in between the bricks. So all I need to do now is white from there down and the two leaves. So I'm going to work on that this weekend, and fingers crossed it'll be finished. So that was the whip. And then the last week of August, this week, Monday the 27th, I started working on a free pattern that was off the DMC website, and it's called DMC Geometric Square, I think. I'm not too sure if it's still on there, dmc.com. This picture's not fantastic, but that is what I am working on this week. So I pulled it out on Monday, started it on Monday, get to work on it up until the end, up till tonight, until 12 o'clock. And I have done a colour conversion. It's going in my living room, so it's in blues. And I've hardly done anything on this because I've had guests all week, so I've not had my sewing out at all. I've had guests from Tuesday morning, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they went about 4 hours ago today. And then I just got everything out and started getting ready to do this video, so I have not touched this at all. So that is how far I got. So I'm working it on 14 count Ada that was in my stash. I'm using floss that was in my stash. I've done the middle bit and I've just started working my way out. But yeah, that's as far as I've got. And I don't think I'm going to get anything done on it today. So that'll get put away, probably looking pretty much like that. So yeah. So yeah, that's as far as I got with that. So that's everything that I stitched on this month, which leads me to my plans for September. Oh, I'm so excited. So in September, I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 starts for September. 4 Mondays plus September the 13th, which is my birthday. So I get to start a new one on my birthday as well. So on the 3rd of, I was going to say March, the 3rd of September, which is the Monday coming up, I get to start a new kit, and I have one. I've got stuff everywhere, so which came in the post the other day, and this was a birthday treat for myself. And it's another Chinese kit. It's not printed, and I did do an internet search. I checked to see if this was somebody else's cross stitch design, because obviously if it was somebody else's, I would have rather got it from them than get it a Chinese copy. I couldn't find it, so I'm hoping that this isn't somebody else's work, and if it is, I'm extremely sorry. But this is the picture of what I am going to be stitching. Now, again, all it's come with is that, no name, don't know what it's called. I just call the girl with the umbrella. So that's what she's going to look like. So I start that on Monday. It is on £14 Tader. And I didn't know this because I've had 3 Chinese kits before. 2 on printed, 1 on just normal Ada, and this one is Magic Guide. Well, I'm hoping it's Magic Guide. I hope the lines come out. I've never seen that in a Chinese kit. It's not greatly Magic Guide. I mean, these blue lines all over the place, but yeah. So, and DMC floss. The card, I mean, it doesn't feel great. Doesn't, says DMC. But also, the packet says DMC on it as well. Don't know if you can see that there. So I'm thinking it is DMC, or they are definitely DMC and this might not be. So yeah, so that's the first start of September. On the 10th of September is my magazine start. And I am doing this on linen. My first ever time stitching on linen. It's out of stash. I got a massive piece from auction. I don't know what count it is, so I'm going to give it a go and hopefully it'll fit on. But I am doing from cross stitching, the world of cross stitching, and it is issue 243. And I am doing that. And I think it's just called Beauty and Elegance. So that is what I am going to be doing. I'm doing it exactly as it's charted, using exactly the colours, because of the colours of my craft room. Well, it's not craft room yet, it's a storage room, but it will be a craft room one day. So that is what I'm going to do. So that'll be what I'll be starting on the 10th of September. So on the 13th of September, which is my birthday, I will be starting, and I'm so looking forward to this. My sister got me this last year for my birthday, and obviously it's just been sat there since. So I will be doing it on 32 count linen. Again, not new to linen, completely new to linen. And I will be starting my very first Mirabilia. And it is, of course, Christmas in London. And I'm so excited. She is stunning, absolutely stunning, and I'm so excited to start my first Mirabilia, and hopefully it'll be the first of many. I cannot wait. What I was going to ask was, I had a look at the beads, I was looking on So-and-So, and one of the treasures seems to be no longer available. So I was wondering, does anybody know where you can get a convert? I mean, obviously there must be something else I can use instead of what they're asking for on this. I can't remember exactly which treasure it is. I think it's the, if anybody's done this before, I think it's the Diamante drops that are in the chandelier. I've got a feeling it's them. I think it's 13051 Mill Hill treasures, and I need 10 of them. I think they're no longer available. If anybody knows or if anybody knows if they're still available, or if I can get them somewhere else, or if there's something else I can use instead that's very similar, could you leave a comment below? That'd be absolutely fantastic, because otherwise I don't know what I'm going to do other than try and find something that's similar, but I've never even looked at 13051 to see what they're like, to even try and match them up to something else. So, but yeah, that's my birthday start and I'm really excited about it, so I'm really looking forward to this one. On the 17th of September, it's going to be a book start, and I showed briefly in my first video of a collection that I was buying, which was the Art of Cross Stitch, which was what first got me into cross stitching last year in 2017. Now I've got lipstick all over the back of it. Lovely. So yeah, so on the 17th I am pulling out something off this, and it is going to be the Union Jack pillowcase, or Union Jack cushion. So that's it. And that's what I'm going to be starting on the 17th. And I am going to be doing colour change. I'm going to be doing it in blues and greys and creams and light browns to match what's going on behind me. So yeah, that'll be my start on the 17th, and I'll be doing it on 14 count Ada. So that'll be a new start. And then the last new start of September will be on the 24th, Monday the 24th. I'll be doing it on 14 count Ada if I've got some in my stash. If not, and I have to buy some fabric, I'll be buying it on 18 count Ada. I do prefer 18 count Ada. I'm hoping, because I've never stitched on linen before, I'm hoping that when I stitch on my Mirabilia and the Beauty and Elegance magazine piece, if I really like it, I'm going to use linen for cross stitch that isn't full coverage, and I'll stick with my Ada for full coverage pieces. So hopefully it'll either be on 14 count or 18 count Ada this, and it's a free chart. Let me just put something in front of this. It's a free chart. I got it off that website if anybody wants to have a look. It's called Secret Garden. I printed it out, and this is it. So that is my full coverage internet cross stitch new start for the 24th of September. Like I said, it'll either be on 14 or 18 count Ada. And I'll work on that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then on the Saturday I'll pull out another whip and work on it Saturday, October. So that's it, everybody. That's my update for August, my plans for September. Thank you for taking the time and staying with me, and I hope to see you all very soon. Happy stitching, everybody. Hope you're all having a wonderful time on your projects and your whips and your new starts, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.